Led Zeppelin is sometimes referred to as a heavy metal band, but is this true? In this video, we will discuss the origins of heavy metal and Led Zeppelin's true involvement in the genre. It may be true that some elements of Led Zeppelin are borrowed on heavy metal, like some of their music, their style and image, but how much of this is actually true? You might be shocked at the differences. However, this is not to say the band was not a direct influence on a particular subgenre that has ties with Black Sabbath. Stay until the end to uncover the truth. But before we do, please subscribe to the channel with notifications so you don't miss anything. For the sake of simplicity and moving forward in an easy and simplistic way, we will use proto-metal to define what heavy means in terms of music. It should give us some perspective to analyze the concept behind heavy without delving too much into the history of heavy metal or its subgenres. This comparison is for science and nothing else. We want to understand the differences and influences of Led Zeppelin and how they relate to heavy metal. While Led Zeppelin's music and heavy metal share many elements together, they're not entirely similar. Both are characterized by having riffs, but each band reached out to different influences. Tony Iommi would take inspiration from the Devil's Tritone, as heard on the album The Planets by Gustav Holt. The song Mars, the Bringer of War became immortalized in the riff played on the song Black Sabbath from their debut album, and the band would often delve into obscurity for describing an apocalyptic world, resembling the doings of World War II. For the sake of science, of course, Jimmy Page's riffs are characterized by having enough melody that they end up sounding light if we were to compare them to heavy metal or Black Sabbath, and they don't bring an element of tension to the environment, nor do they support the idea of darkness. The only mystery here is when you start to wonder, how the hell was he able to compose something this good? The sound that proto-metal brought was trippier and was known as acid blues. The combination of melody and rhythm based on the blues and rock and roll was part of Jimmy Page's genius. This was not the case for the more chaotic formula that proto-metal bands incorporated. Proto-metal appears at a time of change when music shifted from the focus of the summer flowers to the realities of World War II. From the beginning, Geezer Butler recounts that no one was speaking about the tragedies of war. By then, Dylan was gone, and the media focused on the hippies and lying on television. War Pigs, Hand of Doom, and Into the Void are some of the tracks that preach political awareness, something Led Zeppelin just never talked about. Instead, they explored songs about love, heartbreak, and fantasy. Although the term downer rock was coined by Bill Ward to describe the music of Black Sabbath, the term also was used eventually to describe other bands such as Blood Rock, Bang, and even Sir Lord Baltimore, who is recognized as a great influence to stoner rock. But perhaps a band that's actually characterized by uniting Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath could be Iron Butterfly. Who played the same riff for 17 minutes during their song In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Something changed in music, perhaps due to its popularity. Having spent 2 years on the American charts, this song alone introduced several aspects that both Led Zeppelin and metal bands would eventually incorporate. The song introduces the concept of musical solos for the first time in pop culture, and we can hear all kinds of solos, from the drums to the bass, the guitar, and finally the organ. Jimmy Page's solos are blues-based like most of the band's legendary catalog, and it would be hard to encapsulate Led Zeppelin simply as a blues band, since they really explored so many other genres and different techniques in the studio. Another difference with Black Sabbath was that the first 2 Led Zeppelin albums had clear influences from the blues. That is to say, you could clearly hear the blues in the music of these albums. The blues was present in Black Sabbath, but it wasn't as obvious since the band took inspiration from jazz and other things like psychedelic rock. The lyrics were often about socio-political themes with sentiments of anti-war and freedom without diving into romance. Far from writing songs about love and heartbreak, Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin were legendary bands with importance in the music industry. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel. Whether you've been a metalhead for decades or you're just getting into it, leave a comment below and share your thoughts on our topic today. Thanks again, everybody, and remember, stay metal.